I have to drive to Columbus, Ohio on behalf of my child who decided to ask me to help them go move in instead of asking his friends, specifically his friend who he let stay in my house for free because they didn't have anywhere to go. And my son explicitly told me that his friend don't get up until after 1 o'clock. No, homie, if you know you gotta be somewhere, your friend should be willing to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning for you. That's called a real friend, not a fake friend. Like, this is ridiculous. This is not what I should be doing on my Sunday, especially last minute. I had no idea this is what I was gonna be doing. But here I am going live talking to y'all while I'm driving. So, the other thing that I wanted to talk about, because I'm on here for an hour. After an hour, I am getting off and I got to go live on another channel. So, I, I recently saw a girl post that New York is not what it's all cracked up to be. Sorry, not sorry. And I was like, baby, that's because you young and you don't understand the original New York. That's why you think New York is not what it's cracked up to be. So let me give y'all a little bit of a history lesson. So I am older, I am not young. And when I was coming up, New York City was like, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Like, that was the slogan, right? Because New York was so edgy. New York was diverse. New York was like, it never sleeps. So everywhere else in America would go to sleep, especially on Saturdays after Saturday Night Live. So everywhere else in America would go to sleep except for New York, right? New York is the city that never sleeps. Like, whatever you want to do, it was always, when I was coming up, it was the idea that there's always something to do. And what I specifically told my friend today that's from New York is that New York was where the influencers were. As people call them today, New people call people influencers, right? But New Yorkers were the people who were influencing people, and they were not even trying to influence anybody. They were the true. Like, I'm not worried about nobody else. I'm just rocking the style that I like. I'm just doing what I like. And people would go to New York to see what people who did not care about other people, like, what they were doing, and everybody else was copying New York. And so what happened is, over time, they they just messed up New York. When I say they messed it up, like, they took away the power from the small mom and pop stores. When I was growing up, people used to go to New York to buy clothing. If you wanted something that nobody had in your city, all you used to have to say is, I got this in New York. Like, that's how big New York was. Even now, I see some of the edginess of New Yorkers when I go, and I can tell that they still have that impact of influence. And when I go to New York and I'm like, well, what happened to the mom and pop stores? They built that mall for the gentrification of New York, and they made them close up shop. So you have people who are native New Yorkers live there, and they know what I'm talking about. They know, like, any pair of shoes you wanted, you were gonna be able to find them in New York, and a New Yorker was gonna be able to tell you where to get them at. They didn't go into Macy's and Nike and, Reebok and Adidas to get shoes and things. New Yorkers went to the mom and pop stores to get the Nikes that Nike only sold to the mom and pop stores. New Yorkers went to, the mom and pop store to get a coat made, or to get a coat that they weren't going to have at any of the big box stores like Macy's. Macy's is where the rest of the America shopped at. But if you wanted a boutique, when I was growing up, like, you wanted something just something that nobody else was going to have, you had to find somebody who was a middleman in New York who bought the items so you could bring the items back and have your own boutique. I knew a woman, I still know her to this day. She had a boutique in the bottom of her basement. She went to New York ever so often, and she would buy clothes. And people in my city would come and buy the clothes from her because they weren't gonna find, and she would only buy one ofs. So you're not worried about somebody else getting this unless they go to New York and they find it. Like it was no get on the internet. I'ma search the internet, look at all of these upcoming, mom and pop stores and find what I'm looking for. New York had everything. New York was New York. Like even New Yorkers today, people who really from New York, they have this like idea of themselves that like who are you? Like I don't even know you. I don't know where you from. Like where does your state even exist? Like the older New Yorkers. Now it does show their ignorance on the other hand, but the truth of the matter is New Yorkers really felt like they were in their own little world because they controlled so much of what we do. So I am here. I am a real person. See, I'm driving and I'm on a road trip and I got to do my hour alive. So when I go to New York, I know the New York that people are talking about that they want to see because I've lived there. I didn't live there, but my mom had a really good friend who lived in Brooklyn. So like Brooklyn people are typically down to earth and cool. Like they just down to earth. They gonna look at you crazy if you say something that they think is weird. But beyond that, if they like you, they like you. That's another thing about a real New Yorker. If they like you, they like you. If they don't like you gonna know up front. You don't have to worry. You don't have to think. You don't have to second guess it. New York is New York. Like it just is New York, and they've gentrified New York so much that the younger generation don't even know the edge of New York because it's not even they when I say they gentrified it, that means they put the influence of Caucasian America in New York, and it's not even the edginess of we all from somewhere different, right? That was the New York I knew. I knew that in nobody is because they all living amongst themselves, like doing New Yorker things. They getting their hair done in 30 minutes. Never had seen that in my life. Somebody get their hair done. No, getting their hair not 30 minutes, but getting their hair done on their lunch break. And you had to be fast because baby, I'm using my lunch break to get my hair done and I gotta go back to work. So like if you know New York and you know New Yorkers, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like they getting their hair done at lunch break. Lunch break is an hour. I got about 15 minutes. I got 30 minutes to get to and from to get my hair done and I gotta go. That is the New York I knew. That is the New York like you take the subway everywhere. You do not drive in the city. You drive in the city, you need to make sure somebody is driving you and you're not the driver. That is the New York I know. It's not I'm going to drive in the city and I'm going to find a parking space and I'm going to pay. No, it's take the train. I'm taking the train into the city. And that's what I did. I used to take the train into the city. I would stay with my sister who lived in New Jersey as I became a teenager, and I would take the train over. I remember the first time I went to New York by myself, I got lost on the train because you had to take the train and then you had to take the bus. And at the time, my sister was living in Piscataway, New Jersey. So I got lost. I mean, I ended up making it to her house, but I'm always that type. I don't mind getting lost, but it was like, oh, smack. So the first time I went to New York, I went to my mom's friend's house. I stayed in Brooklyn. I stayed at her house. She took me everywhere. When I say everywhere, I did all the tourist stuff. I went to the Statue of Liberty. I went all the way to the top. I went to Ellis Island. I went to the World Trade Center. I went to the top. Now I ate at. I took the dollar cab. So it used to be these dollar taxis in Brooklyn that would take you from one end to the other. I don't know what the real names of them are, but you just get in, you pay a dollar, and it runs through a whole street. So you don't have to take the bus. You just get on, you go all the way through. So the New York you see now is just gentrified. Like it is not the same edge. It's not everything is a big box. I'm going to Nike to get my shoes now. You're not going to the mom and pop stores. I'm going here to go get I'm going to Macy's to go pick up a coat, right? Like Canal Street, I saw some people posting about Canal Street like it's like new and it just came out. Canal Street always been that. But what happened also, because I used to teach fashion marketing 20 years ago, they started busting a lot of these companies for trademark infringement because a lot of these designer luxury goods that people were buying, they were knockoffs. And part of your trademark infringement is against, knockoffs. So with that, I love New York. I love going to New York. I've been to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I actually went one year when it was really, really warm. I was shocked. It was not cold. It was like the nicest Thanksgiving Day I could remember. And I remember growing up watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade as a kid. And just to be there with my children, that within itself was like phenomenal. And it wasn't cold. My kids got to play in Central Park in the leaves, which now I look back and I'm like, a rat could have been in them leaves. But nevertheless, I digress. New York is New York. Like, it's just a melting pot. It's so much to do. I used to go every year to one Broadway show in New York. If you've never been to a Broadway play, the very first one that I went to was Ragtime. I was just blown away. I was blown away by the set. I was blown away by the actors and actresses. I was blown away by how clear you could hear their words. And it was just a story of a gentleman who was trying to come to America to make something of themselves. Like they wanted to establish a legacy for themselves. So going to see Ragtime on Broadway, that sparked my desire to keep going. And over time, it did stop. I did stop going to Broadway, but I haven't stopped going to like the Broadway versions of plays when they come into your city. And sometimes I do go to Broadway. I know when I lived in DC, I went to all the plays that came through. I would take my children. I even So that's something I probably should start back up doing again because it's been a long time. I think I stopped because of COVID, or maybe I stopped like 12 years ago. But when I was younger, I used to go to Broadway plays all the time. Like all the time. There was never a time I didn't go once a year to New York just to see a play. And just, I don't know what you're looking for when you go to New York. Like, what are they're still big for modeling. There are a lot of concerts that happen, and if so, the a whole thing of like Madison Square Garden, like being able to sell that out, why that would be an artist's dream, is because of the magnitude of the arena. And it really is a I have arrived moment in my career when you can sell out Madison Square Garden. So other people may not get it, but it's just that whole appeal of New York. You make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. There is nowhere on the face of the earth that you cannot make it in, because New York was the most expensive city to live in back when I was younger. It was the Everybody knew that. Everywhere else it was cheap to live, but New York was the most expensive city to live in. So not only that, but expensive place to live in. You you have clothing, shoes, experiences that no one else can get anywhere in the United States. You are the mecca of culture. Like New York is the mecca of culture. Like they transformed. There were so many, we used to read magazines. There were so many publishing houses that were in New York. Like if you had a story to tell or you wanted to be featured in a magazine, which we used to read. We used to get the magazines mailed to our houses, which that has kind of diminished over time. But it wasn't just newspapers; it was magazines and newspapers. And New York was the New York Times was the forefront of news. So anything you wanted to hear, read about in the news, it was often written by the New York Times, and then someone had to pick up the story in your city, like at your local paper. So my local paper is the Cleveland Plain Dealer. That's the paper that I use. Like they're even like the New York Times had a huge travel section. So they would send their correspondents to go to these various countries and do articles about the country. They would get to have the experience. And then your local paper could pick up that story and add it into their local travel state section. Of course, they would give the original, publisher or author or writer credit for the story, but that's how much influence New York City had on every aspect of American life. So not only do you have them representing fashion, but you have them like even everybody who like at one point came into the United States, they had to come through New York City. They went to Ellis Island. And I don't know if you've read stories about that, but there's a book and you can find like your ancestors' name who came at that time when Ellis Island was open. Their name is in the book. Now, I know it was featured in a movie called Hitch with I can't even think of that man's name because I'm driving and looking at the same time. His name is Will Smith. But that's really a real artifact in American history. Is that book that people would sign coming from all over the world trying to make their way into America. So you have a diversity of people. You have and people moved from New York because their family was from New York, and then they moved over to New Jersey. Which New Jersey, to me, New Yorkers and New Jersey people from New Jersey act the same. I think that they be like, no, we don't. They'll tell you that to their face, but I think they do because they both spend a lot of time in each part. New Jersey people from New Jersey go see their family in New York, and people in New York go see their family in New Jersey because all they did was left the city as they call it and went over to New Jersey. And then you still have our major carriers. They fly into New York. Like that's where they were flying into. It wasn't flying into LA. That was never like the thing you did. You flew into New York. You flew into JFK or you flew into LaGuardia. And LaGuardia didn't even do international flights. LaGuardia was like the local, like only domestic carrier, right? But then it became LaGuardia and JFK did international flights. And so LAX is a major hub. Miami is a major hub. All of these other cities over time have become what we know. Like if you really are going to Asia, most of the time you leave from LAX, right? Or San Francisco. San Francisco has a lot of flights from Taiwan or China because of the tech hub that's there. So you got a lot of engineers, software engineers that are from Taiwan because I met them when I was on the flight and they told me that's where they were from. And they come here during this time to visit their families, but they work for these, technology companies that's in Silicon Valley. These tech startups. They're from Taiwan and they're here in the United States. So you have a huge hub, especially with United that flies from San Francisco over to Asia. You have JFK now. JFK and LaGuardia, they do international. You have ORD, Chicago O'Hare, that does international now. You have Dallas Fort Worth, which has always done international because that was Americans' hub. That's where American is headquartered at, is in Dallas Fort Worth. So they are a big hub for international flights. The longest flight, and I don't know if it's still the longest flight, I would have to look it up or you can look it up yourself, but the longest flight in the world leaves out of JFK and goes to Australia. It is the longest flight in the world. And it goes from, I think it goes from DFW to Sydney, or it could go from DFW to Perth. I'm not for sure, but my daughter took the flight, and that's how I know it's the longest flight because when we were sitting down talking, they told me specifically, you know, this is the longest flight in the world. So please make sure you talk to them and make sure they get up and whatever. But the trip I'm on right now, was not my idea for today. It says that I have approximately an hour and 26 minutes left on this road trip. I will only be on here 40 more minutes talking, and I have no plan. Like, I just have no plan. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. This is Glistening July. Every video you see, every short you see, this is my hand for real. This is not my fake hand. I'm driving. That's why I don't have it up. And um, but this is, I film these videos. I love to travel. I'm an avid traveler. I like to take my girls on trips, but they're getting older now, where they're like, oh, I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And so slowly but surely, I am becoming a solo traveler. But yeah, this is not. I like road trips, and the reason why I like road trips is because you get to sit in a car by yourself and listen to the music you like. You know, you call people you haven't spoken to in a long time. You're not gonna be interrupted by anything because it's just, you on the road, and your eyes have to stay on the world. It gives you peace. The tree, looking at the trees and what have you. But yeah, I hope you're having a good Sunday. Today is Sunday, August the 16th, 2026. Today is the last day of the Cuyahoga County Fair at the Berea Fairgrounds. Today is the absolutely last day. So yeah, and it's back to school season. A lot of people going back to school. This is the perfect time to start traveling since everybody is back to college this week coming up. So if you're looking for a ticket, you need to go this weekend coming up. This weekend and next weekend. Because the weekend after that is Labor Day. And fares are going to go up again. So if you're trying to find a fare, you're trying to find low cost fare, you always travel when nobody else is traveling. That's a tip. That's a travel tip for you. I paid almost at one place at Sam's Club. I paid $3.64 a gallon. At Shell, I paid $4.46. Well, 43 cents. That's a lot. Like, I don't know how people do not have a Costco membership or a Sam's Club membership. And that's one of the reasons why I got the memberships, is because when I travel on road trips, I pretty much stop at a Costco, because it's just, the gas reminds me of the same gas that you use at Shell. I will fill up with Sam's Club, but that's only if that's the nearest gas station. But I always try to plan out my road trips so that I'm able to fill up at a Costco. Always. Every road trip I do, I'm always looking to see where Costco is and how convenient. The last one I did, though, I didn't go to Costco. I went to Buc-ee's. I didn't go to Costco, Sam's Club, or Shell. I went to Buc-ee's and filled up. And that wasn't bad at all. So, yeah. Do you like road trips, or are you a type of person where you just got to get on the plane and get there? Or have you ever not left your state? I don't know. But what I do know is that I got to plan another trip, another road trip. It's time to start doing the things I enjoy. Like, I really enjoy traveling. I really enjoy meeting new people, like sitting and talking to people and just enjoying life, because you never know like who you'll meet. And I just always ask that I'm at the right place at the right time. I always want to be at the right place at the right time. So my son is supposed to be behind me, but he is nowhere near me. He ain't in my rear view. He ain't in the side. I know it was raining in Cleveland, but it stopped, um, and started drizzling a little bit. But as we move further into southern Ohio, there's no rain in sight. So Columbus is actually the largest, well, is the 15th largest city in the United States by population. Most people don't know that, but it is, and it's located in Ohio. So that's a little fact for you. And Columbus is the 15th largest city based on census, and it is in Ohio. In Ohio, I went to the Ohio State Fair, but I can't remember. But we are a huge exporter of soybeans and corn, which I know Illinois is a huge exporter of corn, but I didn't know that Ohio, and like pig byproduct. That was interesting to learn at the state fair. So yeah, this is me. I'm a real person. See, I just can't look at you because I don't have a mount in my car to look at the screen. And my eyes are on the road. Probably see my elbow. Is it ashy? I don't know. I didn't put any lotion on. But make sure you subscribe to this channel. And I thank everybody who subscribed. I thank everybody that liked. I was on here yesterday, and I don't even know what I was talking about Frontier, because I just had a not so great experience with them, and I wasn't even getting a ticket for myself. I was actually getting a ticket for my godmother. Well, trying to get a ticket for her, and she didn't like the price, even though it was cheaper. So she wanted to go to Fort Myers, Florida. Florida. There is a direct flight, and the ticket was $429 online. In person, the ticket was $380. So I thought she was gonna. That's a $49 difference. I thought she was gonna get the ticket, and she didn't get the ticket. Not only did I argue with the lady there, and I wasn't getting the ticket, but now I just wasted 40 minutes of my time. But that's okay, because my godparents are really great. But I talked about what you like, how to get on your first flight. And I don't recommend people take their first flight with Frontier, because there are things you need to know, and they don't do a good job of explaining those things, even though a huge portion of their clientele are first time travelers. Like, I wish they did a better job. They should come out with videos and like a little, like a nice little newsletter to introduce somebody to who they are. I think that would be a great idea for them. It would be a huge marketing tactic, but it would transform the thought that people have, and it would debunk some of the myths that people have in their head when they're flying. That's a good marketing idea. So if they ever see this video, think I'm gonna hashtag them in this video. Hashtag Fly Frontier, or hashtag Frontier. And I'm gonna tell them, you should do videos, and your welcome to the people who are first time travelers should be, hey, welcome to Frontier. We're here to make your travel smoothless. These are the steps you need to take. And just, it could be like an AI generated cartoon light, and you can walk the person through downloading the app. They can walk them through like putting in their trip and buying, purchasing their baggage, and talking about how we know our competitors allow you to carry 50 pounds on board in your baggage, but with us, we only allow 40. And give some reason. And it could be a funny reason why you picked 40. It don't have to be some long thought out idea. Like, it could be short, quick, and to the point. So when the person go, they see everything they're going to interact with. And so it's more at ease. But the whole waiting at the counter, at the ticket counter, waiting on people, and their attitude of the people they hire, that's just not a good look. Especially when you being nice in the back end after we didn't call the Philippines because of your company, because y'all done messed up. Like, it's just not a good look at all. Frontier, that you mean in person and you super sweet and nice online, or you nice virtually. Like, none of that makes sense. But I digress. I do fly Frontier. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I don't. I fly everybody. I fly Frontier, Delta, United, American, and Southwest. I fly Southwest the least likely, but like I said yesterday, Southwest got me out of Jamaica during Hurricane Burr, and I had never been in a hurricane a day in my life. But Southwest got me out, so I am forever grateful to them. And they had free baggage. So I don't have anything bad to say about Southwest. I was kind of disappointed that they got away with the two free bags, because I kind of felt like the bags was already included in the fare. But nevertheless, here we are. They're charging for bags. Everybody's charging for bags. I have a trip coming up, and I got the basic economy ticket because I really thought I was going on a trip. And then the person who I was meeting there, they canceled because they have to go to a training session. So I called United today and asked them how much would it be for me to change my flight. And she told me that it would be $160, and I would get the rest of the flight as a credit. And I paid $375 for the flight. I said, ma'am, that's basically like I'm only getting half back. But if I upgrade my ticket to economy, Instead of basic economy, it would be $149, and then I would get a complete flight credit. So of course, I am going to get a complete flight credit for the 149 because that makes more sense. I can go wherever I want to go for another for $11 less. So I'm gonna change my flight on Wednesday. I don't know where I'm gonna go, what I'm gonna do, but I do know I'm changing my flight on United. So if you ever get a basic economy ticket, you can always upgrade your ticket to economy for 149. Sometimes it's less than that, but this particular flight, United told me that it was 149 in the app to upgrade, and that if I wanted to I could then get a flight credit because it's a flight credit. I don't think it's even fully refundable. I think it's a flight credit. But with all of this rain in the Midwest, I wonder how that is affecting the weather in Idaho. So we will see. I have a couple of places that I want to go. I only want to go places that I've never been for the remainder of the year. Like, I don't want to go anywhere that I've been to. If I go, it's like, yay, I'm going, but it's not high on my list of things to do. So, and then she also told me that if for some reason there is like a mechanical issue, or the airport is saying that I have to change my flight, that's the only way that I could change my flight as with the basic economy. So I've never gotten a basic economy and turned around and didn't go on the trip. So this is just all new to me. Normally, if I know there's a possibility that I will have to change my flight, I get an economy ticket. But if I know I'm like, okay, I'm going, and that was the assumption I was underneath, that I was actually going on this trip, I wasn't going to change, then I would have gotten you know, I would have gotten a economy ticket so I can get a flight credit versus no flight credit and pay more to say I'm in economy, and I'm really not in economy. I'm just trying to save $11 on United. And United is another company where they don't take cash on board. They're a touchless, contactless, or however they say it, no touch carrier. So they ask that you upload a credit card to your account so you can make purchases online if you want to. Like, if you want to buy something that they don't give you for free, you can do that. I know when you fly first class with United, you can put in special requests for your meals. So let's say that the standard menu is something that you don't like. You can put on the United app, you can ask for a different meal. So, like, I like salmon. So often when I fly first class with United, I always request a salmon meal if that is not already part of the meal you're getting. Now, I do like doing the first class flight from LA to Cleveland because it's like a red eye and you get to go to sleep. But this last time I did the red eye from LA to Cleveland, I was in economy plus. So I was happy that they do give you blankets and a pillow in economy plus. So I was able to, wrap myself up because it gets really cold on the planes now. And lately I've been getting sick. Even when I wear my hat, and I don't know why I get sick, because that cold air is coming down on you. It's cold all year round. It's cold in the summer. It's cold in the winter. It's just cold on the planes all year round. So I recommend when you travel on a plane now that you wear a hat, a winter hat. I also recommend that you get a hoodie and you put that on you as well. I don't like blankets. That's just me personally. But I do know people who like wearing blankets on the plane. I don't like that. I don't like taking a blanket because that's just me. I want them to give me a blanket. And when I was little, they used to give you blankets for free, no matter where you were sitting on the plane. You could have been in coach, you could have been in first class, you was getting a blanket. Now they only give you a blanket if you're in economy plus or if you're in first class. So there you have that. I don't know what else. It's just there's no major cities between Cleveland and Columbus. And Mansfield does not count. That is not a major city. And I basically have 30, 30, 25 more minutes on the phone with y'all. I mean, well, not on the phone, but on this live. I just can't believe the end of the year is coming up so quickly. Like, we're already in August. We have September, October, November. We have 3 more months and the year is over. Like, this year went by so fast. When I mean so fast, I mean so fast. I cannot believe that it is coming to an end this rapidly. And I have so many major decisions to make. Just a lot of major decisions to make. And I didn't even get to travel. I didn't do a lot of I mean, I traveled, but I didn't do oh, I did do an international trip this year. But I didn't really go like places that I wanted to go. Like, I just, well, no, I take that back. Some of them I had to go to. Like, I had to go to Memphis, Tennessee. I had to go to California. I had to go to Lafayette, Louisiana. I had to go to Vietnam. Like, it wasn't just like I'm going to sightsee and have fun and try food and walk around. All of that was like the second thought. So if you like to travel, like, what's your, I can't see you. You can't see me. This is not pre-recorded. Today is Sunday, August the 16th, 2026. So this is not a pre-recording. If you are not subscribed, I ask that you subscribe. I know I have something that you like. Somebody asked me, like, how do I get to travel so much? And I want to make sure I cover this because I like traveling. Like, I absolutely like traveling. And my son knew what he was doing by telling me, asking me, can you drive? Can you help me move to Columbus today? Dude, this is not what I want to do. Especially when that gas was $4.43. And then gas was $3.64 at Sam's Club. I could spend $60 on a meal somewhere. And he is not reimbursing me for any of my gas money. So, yeah, this is not this was not on my to-do list today. But what are you doing today? Are you driving? If so, where are you driving to? I was talking about New York earlier and how New York was the epicenter of ordinary people being influencers. Like, and it's so funny because even to this day, anytime I meet a New Yorker, I feel like they're gonna be just so down to earth, right? But they're gonna let me know up front if they like me or if they don't like me. Like, they're not gonna sugarcoat it. They're not gonna, make it seem like it's something different. They're gonna let me know up front. Like, hey, I like you, I don't like you, don't ask me no more questions. And so I was saying, like, how influencers now, they're boring and they're trying to influence instead of just being who they are as individuals. It's like the biggest influencers are people who don't want to influence you. Like, I really don't want to influence you. I'm just telling you about my life experience and what I do and what I like. I don't want to get on here and make a big scene, but we've come now to a society where we are literally looking at people who they want to influence you. They want you to do something. So, but yeah, I still like New York. I I like New York. That's not changing. I'm not changing my mind about it. Like, I really like visiting New York. I like taking my children to New York. I think everybody needs to go to New York at least once in a lifetime. I don't like doing a lot of the tourist stuff in New York because I've already done it, but I do know the importance of doing the tourist things in New York. I recommend people go at least once in their lifetime and do all the tourist things. And then the second time you go to New York, figure out why you're going and you enjoy that experience. That's what I recommend for people when they travel to New York is that you go twice in your life or multiple times after the first time. But that very first time you go to New York City, You need to do all of the tourist stuff. Your schedule should be nothing but tourist things, and then after you do all the tourist stuff, then you go back and you do that thing you want to do, whether it's catch a concert at Madison Square Garden or go to a Broadway play that you heard about or heard great reviews about. Whatever it is that you are really into, when it comes to New York, have that experience because it will be like no other experience. It's not like going to Vegas. It's New York. This is the New York. Like if your favorite artist goes to New York, go to New York. Enjoy the city for what it is the very first time. Do tourist stuff. Go to Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. Go to Ellis Island. Go to the Statue of Liberty. Go to the World Trade Center. Do all of the tourist stuff that you want to do. Go to Radio City Music Hall. Go to Broadway, which is not just one street. Broadway is multiple streets in one area, which is within itself phenomenal. Can fly anyone if you know you like Broadway plays because you've had that experience already. Fly into the city, stay at a hotel, take the train to your hotel, stay at a hotel near the play you want to see, have dinner somewhere nearby, and have that experience. You know, or if you know you're gonna have dinner on one side of the city, go to the other side of the city and eat and take the train, but make sure you time everything just right because catching the train could be like you walking through a 3 mile tunnel. Okay, just to prepare a 2 mile tunnel, and if you don't have on the right shoes, make sure you put your shoes you're gonna wear for your event in your bag and your walking shoes, your tennis shoes, or whatever you use as your walking shoes to walk around the city. That's why you see so many New Yorkers wearing tennis shoes oftentimes with their dresses because they're not about to walk 3 miles in some heels. It ain't even worth it. It is not worth it at all. And so today is August the 16th, 2026. It is approximately 3:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am driving to Columbus, but I made a goal to myself that I am going to get on here and show up as my authentic self, which who else could I be but myself? Duh. Uh, and talk about travel because that's what I like to do. I'm in the car, I'm on a road trip, I'm driving to Columbus, Ohio. This person says, I love herbs. Don't we all? And I mean that sincerely. Like, I like to get my herbs from Trader Joe's. Have not found somebody who actually grows them and is not weird that grows them. But I like to get them from Trader Joe's. And I actually go to Trader Joe's when I travel like this, like in a car or I rent a car. I go to Trader Joe's all across the country if it's present. Because what it used to be was that Trader Joe's would be in cities that Whole Foods felt like the people couldn't make enough money to shop with them. Like that was how Whole Foods decided that they were going to set up shop in the city was based on somebody's income. Even though they allow all people with all income levels to shop in their store. Like, and I don't think people know that either. But yes. So yeah. Oh, it looked like it's about to rain again. It had stopped. It was raining in Cleveland, and it stopped. The sun had came out, so I had to pass by this cloud to get to my next destination. Who is this? Whoever you are, hello, because I look down. Coleman, hello, how are you? How have you been? How's your Sunday going? I missed. Did you get the part about New York? I looked down and saw that you were in the live. Did you get the part about New York? Have you ever been to New York City? It's raining. Oh man, I need to get past this cloud. I need to get past the cloud. All right, but yeah, Columbus. I was talking yesterday. I was talking about the airports in Ohio. There are two major airports in Ohio. So there is Cleveland Hopkins International Airport, and there's Columbus. Columbus has an airport as well. If Columbus continues to grow, I could easily see the Columbus airport growing because where it's located, there's a lot of open land. The airport in Cincinnati is not in Cincinnati. It's actually located in northern Kentucky, which is right across the bridge, right across the Ohio River. But the airport for Cincinnati is the is in Hebron, Kentucky. I think it's called Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Airport, but I mean it's CVG. That's the airport code. And Delta has a hub there. Delta used to have their customer service operations located in Cincinnati. So did American Airlines. That was my first job. My first job as an adult was working for American Airlines. And the only reason why I quit was because at the time, my best friend's aunt worked for Continental or United. One of the two. I think it was United. And she told her, I'll never forget this to this day. She told her, tell Shyla to quit her job because if she does not quit her job, she'll never get a degree because she'll enjoy traveling so much, it'll just become something that's not important. And that scared me because my parents told me that I needed to go to college and get a degree. My parents, my dad had a degree. He got it later in life, and my mom never got a degree. She took some classes. But their goal for me was to go to college and get a bachelor's degree. That was just their goal, just get a degree. And to look back over life, like I know if I wouldn't have quit that job, I would still be at America today. And I probably would have dropped out of college. I can tell you that because when I say I was traveling, I was traveling. I was going to California for the day back when I was a teenager, flying first class. Because back then, when I worked for American, you could fly. Nobody wanted the early morning flights. So the flight load for the early morning flights was light. So that was the only way that you were typically going to get first class. And they used to tell us that we had to dress professional, like business professional, when we went on American first class. So for me, I would dress up and go to the airport so I could be in first class. And I wouldn't take the flight if I didn't get on first class unless I had to get back home and get to work. And I did fam trips. First time I went to Puerto Rico was with my job through American. That was that was a really great experience. That's probably why I love Puerto Rico to this day. And the fam trip is a familiarization tour. So when you're on the phone talking to customers, you can tell them, like, oh, I've been to such and such, you should try this or you should do that. Kind of like what we do now. Like we tell people, hey, you should go to this place. Like in Cincinnati, my favorite restaurant is Thai Express. So every time I go to Cincinnati, Ohio, I always have Thai Express Monday through Saturday. They're closed on Sunday. I used to go so much. I do consider myself a loyal customer. I do know the owner. I do remember her husband, but I don't think he remembers me. And I do not know her child. But that's how frequently I used to go. And recently, two of the people who used to work there when I was younger, they were like, I remember you. And the guy remembered me as well. Like, I used to go in there all the time. I absolutely love Thai food, but I've never been to Thailand. I absolutely love Thai food. It is my favorite food out of all foods. I can eat Thai food every day. Thai and Mexican. Those are my two foods. Like I love going to Mexico. I love the tacos. Like I even had some guacamole with cockroaches or crickets on top, which I don't recommend that for anybody. That was like the most disgusting thing I ever ate. I got 11 more minutes, y'all, and I cannot believe it. But my first job was American Airlines. We used to have buddy passes, so I used to travel for LA for the week, and I used to travel to New York for the week, like a weekend or day, depending on my schedule. If I had to do something on Saturday, I well normally booked it where I didn't have to do anything on Saturday, so I would fly on a Saturday and come back on a Sunday. I used to go to Atlanta a lot when I was younger because I got accepted to Clark Atlanta, and they left my admissions open for 2 years that I could transfer at any time. So the only reason why I didn't go to Clark Atlanta is because I didn't want to lose credits, and then I just didn't want to be in Atlanta. Like my cousin was there and he could get me into clubs VIP because he worked the doors at like all the hottest nightclubs. But that was just something like I didn't want to do anymore. Yeah, I didn't want to do it anymore. But I do miss, and I just never thought that I would have like a YouTube channel. I remember watching Samantha Brown on the travel station and seeing her and go to hotels and tell you about behind the scenes and what it looks like. And I was like, man, if I could do any job in the world, that would be the job I would want to be a travel correspondent. That's what I wanted to do. I would even read the New York Times, the travel station. I didn't read anything else. But whenever my local paper had an article from the New York Times, from a travel correspondent, I would open it up and I would read it and I would look at the pictures. I would even go to the library. They used to have these books that tell you randomly like look through the books about a country just because I was intrigued by what the country had to offer and if one day I would ever make it there. I still want friends all over the world. Like I want to be able to sit and talk to people and hear about their story, and just laugh with people. Like that's how you grow as a person. Just hearing somebody else's story, being encouraging, and just because you meet some of the nicest people. I've gone to New York and people have stopped what they were doing to make sure that me and my family or me, I have gotten to wherever I needed to go safely. That's why I have nothing bad to say about a New Yorker. Nothing. I have nothing bad to say about a New Yorker. And I'm kind of like a de-escalator. Like me and you both can't be going off because then that's going to lead to a war. So if you going off, I'm going to let you go off, right? And let you just go all in or whatever you need. Things have changed. Customer service used to be so important, and especially in the hospitality industry where the pineapple represents the whole idea of welcome. I'm welcoming you into our airline. I'm welcoming you into our hotel. How can we be of service to you? I think businesses are missing that. It's almost as if it's only reserved for the very wealthy, right? But that experience of customer service and hospitality is everything. It's food and beverage, it's transportation, which includes air, train, bus, car, right? It's cruise ships. It is recreation, like your national parks, your local gyms. It's exclusive clubs. Like they've gotten rid of the concept of clubs. They do still exist. I like to call Lifetime Fitness like club status because you can get a massage there, you can work out there, you can play in the pool there. Like it's like a middle class country club. That's what I like to tell people. And they have babysitting services. You can play basketball at the gym. You can do all of these things at Lifetime Fitness. But hospitality is so much more than what people actually realize it is. But it all means to welcome. It means to welcome someone into your space, is to make them feel at home. And we've gotten away from that. I don't know if it's because it's not taught anymore, but customer service is almost a dying art. If you use an AI to tell you what to say to somebody and they're upset, especially if they're sending you a text message or they calling you and you work in the hospitality industry, how are you training the people who actually have to face meet the customer? So make sure if you've gotten this far in this video, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I appreciate everyone who is subscribing. I appreciate you listening to my stories, um, listening to me explain how to navigate travel, how to navigate situations that you may be unfamiliar with that deal with hospitality. The rain has stopped, so you may hear my wipers going back and forth. But if you liked my live, thank you. Thank you for coming on every day. I greatly appreciate you. Today is Sunday, August the 26th, 2000. No, no, it's not. Today is Sunday, August 16th of 2026. It is approximately 3:45 Eastern Standard Time. I am 57 miles away from Columbus proper. I thank you for riding along on this journey with me today, on this road trip. You know, I didn't play any music, and the reason why is because I didn't want the music to be licensed, and then they telling me like, oh, your live is limited to only certain parts of the area. And two, it ain't no state highway patrol. So let me give you this little tidbit. If you can drive through any state, if if you can avoid any state when it comes to road trips, you need to avoid Ohio. And the reason why I'm saying that is because our state troopers be out here like white on rice. Normally they're in Mansfield. Normally they are in Ashland. Normally they are right before you hit Columbus. That is where the state troopers are always in the great state of Ohio. Okay? So if you on a road trip, do the speed limit. The speed limit is 70 miles on the freeway. That is the speed limit. Your grace is 5 miles per hour. So you can go as fast as 75 miles per hour. Anything over that, you are getting a ticket and you ain't going to be able to talk your way out of it. That's the truth about Ohio. Anything over that, it is starting to rain. I am trying to pass the cloud. Our troopers, and we got areas for the troopers to sit in. So they not hiding. They ain't coming out anywhere because that can cause an accident. Along the freeway, it's these do not do a U-turn areas. And it says for emergency only. But if you are driving a car, it's never emergency why you should be doing a U-turn on the freeway. So if you do a U-turn on the freeway in Ohio, you're gonna get a ticket too because you're not an emergency vehicle. So yeah, I got 3 more minutes. Make sure you subscribe and thank you for subscribing. I passed the cloud a little bit. I'm trying to fully pass the cloud so that it does not rain on me. Glistening July. Every video you see was recorded by me. Every short you see was my experience. Oftentimes, my family goes with me on these journeys. It is not me by myself. They could be recording me. They could be taking a picture of me. It could be anything. But yeah, make sure you subscribe. And thank you in advance for subscribing. This trip, I got to stop at Costco to get gas. Because if I don't stop going down, they're going to be closed by the time I get back. So I have to stop going down. I guess I'll stop at Sweet Green today. That's my favorite restaurant right now. Fast casual restaurant. Eating a salad. Yes. I like eating a salad. I like the blackened chicken. I like the green beans. I like the rice. I like the chicken. Okay, I'm gonna have to end this live because I am and my phone just overheated. So I think there's a short in the cord that's overheating my phone. I'm almost where I need to be. So this is going to end relatively sooner than later. So yeah, so it paused because my phone was overheated. Appreciate you. Thank you for overheated. Appreciate you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for listening to my stories. I guess you like my story about New York. You better come on and listen to it again. Listen to all my stories. This is why I didn't want to hold the phone because I knew I was going to look at the camera more often than not. But yeah, see, I'm driving. It's a lot of rural parts of Ohio. A lot of trees. We have one national park in the whole state, and that's located up in Cuyahoga. No, it's in Summit County, right outside of Cuyahoga County. So if you wanted to go there, you would fly into Cleveland Hopkins International Airport. With that being said, I am off. Have a great day. Bye bye.